Hi Neopians, it's me, your grandpa. So I've already put out 3 restocking videos that cover a lot of the basics, and I've been trying to think of a few more tips that can push a beginner restocker into that intermediate competitive restocking tier, and I think I've got a few good ideas for you. I've been talking to a lot of my restocking buddies in Discord about this, and here are some things we came up with. I would say this video has 2 major sections. The first half of the video is mostly about how to find new items worth buying in a more fluid way than just looking at a guide. And the second half of the video is all about speed. I'm going to give you some tips that I think will help make you a faster restocker. So first we'll start with determining items worth buying from a more fluid perspective. My first tip for somebody who wants to up their restocking game is to step away from the guides that show the tried and true items that everyone goes for and take a chance on the hype of newly released items. A lot of beginner guides, including the ones that I made, go through shops that allow you to get consistent profit with items that are reliable and in demand. For example, fresh foods, and the nice list of items that stay profitable because of kitchen quests and cat feeding. But there are ways to take advantage of more unpredictable parts of the Neopets economy that can bring you some much heftier profits. I personally really enjoy restocking wearables, and one of my favorite ways to capitalize on that is by keeping track of Neopet holidays, Neopet birthdays, and other events on site. The new features page is my best friend. Kachik Day just happened on the 29th of this month, and it provides the perfect example of some great profit that you can try to recreate for yourself on any pet day. On Kachik Day, 2 new outfits for the Kachik were released, the Stormy Kachik outfit and the Adorable Kachik outfit. I personally like both of these outfits, and when I talked to other people in the Neopets community, the reviews were fairly positive. This tells us that hopefully there will be some demand for the outfit on release day, or if we're lucky or it's a more popular pet species, for a week or so after release. When you look at the new features page, it tells you that both of these outfits are going to stock in Cogs Togs. So when they came out at around 4 p.m. NST, I put on a few episodes of House and I hung out in Cogs Togs. During that time, I was able to grab 1 Adorable Kachik head, 1 Stormy Cloud Kachik body, and 2 Stormy Cloud Kachik heads. These 4 items ended up being a profit of about 4 million Neopoints. Not bad for a few low-rarity items that in the coming days will stock pretty regularly and provide nice steady profit for us restockers until the hype dies down. Being one of the first people to restock these items is of course going to bring you the best profit, but it also takes a few days for the price to come down to where it will settle, and you can take advantage of that. If you're worried that these events don't come along often enough for you to take advantage of them, I promise you that is not the case. We get events like this with new items every couple of weeks, if not every single week. Another good example of this type of item release was a couple of weeks ago. In Cogs Togs again, the shop has been popping off. We got the Deep Space Galaxy markings, and those steadily sold for 2 million Neopoints for days after release. If you were to buy them today, you could still sell them for around 300k. And they're only rarity 85, so they stock pretty often. The Deep Space Galaxy markings came out on Sloth Appreciation Day, which is just another Neopets holiday that you can take advantage of for profit. Again, my advice to you is to make the new features page your best friend, keep track of pet days, and even the holidays like Borovin Day and Valentine's Day coming up for cute new item releases. The first few days of a new wearable release, or even the release of a new plushie or a new food item, will make you some good money. And it's fun to keep things fresh. Now the next section of this video might sound a little bit like overkill, but this is something we talk about in the restocking community all the time when we're trying to get our haggle time speed up, and that is mouse and keyboard strategies. I know that makes us sound like we're playing Valorant or something, but listen, I just want to make you Neopoints. I believe in the gamer in you. To anyone using touchscreens to restock, you are the true warriors. It is so hard to restock on a touchscreen. Unfortunately, these tips are only going to work with mouse and keyboard players. There are two main setups that are used by most restockers, and we all go back and forth on which are the fastest. Some of us, mostly laptop users, use the row of numbers at the top of the keyboard, and then the rest of us use the numpad on the right side of the keyboard. Both positionings have their own advantages, and I can give a few tips for each to maybe speed up your game if you aren't already doing them. First, the top row number users. If you're using the top row of numbers to restock, you can also use the F5 key on your keyboard to refresh the page as you go, versus clicking on the shopkeepers or clicking the refresh button in your browser. Also, if you find it difficult to quickly click into the haggle box to start typing out your offer, you can click anywhere above the haggle box and hit tab to get into the haggle box without having to aim your clicking. Since the F5 key and the tab key are so close to the row of numbers at the top of the keyboard, this works really well for the people who use that top row. For numpad users, since we can't click F5 to refresh or tab to enter the haggle box because they're too far away from the numpad, I find it easier to just use my mouse to click shopkeeper for refresh and to click into the haggle box manually. However, there is a little trick for numpad users as well. Since there is an enter button on the numpad, when you click on an item and the pop-up asks you, are you sure you want to buy this item? You can hit the enter button, which I may or may not spam a few times if the lag is happening, and that will get you through that prompt much faster than clicking yes on your screen with your mouse. And if you have a gaming mouse, you can attach the refresh button or tab to one of the side buttons on your mouse, if you prefer. Now, my last mouse and keyboard tip is for both top row or numpad users, and it actually has to do with what numbers you're entering into the haggle box. Typically, when you think of haggling, you assume you should enter a price lower than asking price. However, when restocking profitable items, it's actually better to over-haggle on the item. When you enter a price lower than asking price, there is a chance the shopkeeper will deny you and you'll have to attempt a second time, which almost always results in losing the item. If you haggle over asking price, as long as your haggle isn't more than 50% above the price, your haggle will be accepted. So if an item is 10K, I'm more likely to enter 11111 quickly in succession than I am to do 9999, even though 9999 has less presses of my keyboard. There is a chance that the shopkeeper will not accept that bid. Deciding what numbers you actually put into the haggle box is going to come down to preference. I would say there are three main strategies that people use when entering numbers into the haggle box. The first is what I would call like a number pecking method, which is putting in the same number as many times as you need to in succession to make your bid. So if the item costs 1,800, then you would do 2222 as quick as you can and submit that. What's more popular than that is to choose two numbers to enter, because two fingers are always going to be faster than one, of course. So if the item costs 1,800, you could do 2121, and that might speed you up a bit. And the third most popular, and I would say the fastest but also the hardest, is number rolling. So that is entering numbers by entering numbers in succession. So if the item costs 1,800, you would do 2345, which can be very fast if you can do it correctly. And that's really it, kiddos. I just wanted to share a couple things that could take you from that beginner level of memorizing items in shops that will get you profit and kind of move into almost anticipating the market and being more of an active participant in site events and stuff by kind of looking at the items that are coming out and being like, ooh, I can sell this while it's still scarce in the economy. It's fun. I feel like it's fun to do that. And then also get you thinking more about which buttons can I click that will make me a little bit faster. All of that stuff will help, and that's all the stuff we talk about all day long in Discord while we're restocking. So I hope these things help you, and I really appreciate you for watching my restocking videos. We've been hanging out once a week restocking live here on YouTube, and it has been a highlight of my week. So I really, really appreciate it, and thank you so much. I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.